The silence that follows the words, "You have 12 months," is not a silence of absence. It is a silence of supersaturation. Every ambient sound, the hum of the hospital HVAC, the distant clatter of a trolley, the soft exhalation of your own breath, becomes deafeningly loud because your auditory cortex is suddenly flooded with a neurochemical cocktail of shock and norepinephrine. You are not hearing the room. You are hearing the void that has just opened beneath your feet. Let us sit in that room for a moment, not with a distant, theoretical empathy, but with the brutal intimacy of a mind that has just been handed a termination date. You are 52 years old. You are a partner at a prestigious London-based investment firm. You have a corner office, a country house in Surrey, a portfolio that could sustain 3 generations, and a daughter who barely speaks to you because you missed her 21st birthday for a merger meeting. You have spent 30 years building a fortress of security, and in one sentence, delivered by a consultant oncologist with a gentle, rehearsed cadence, that fortress has been revealed as a house of cards. The disease is not the point. The deadline is the point. And the deadline is not a distant abstraction. It is a countdown clock that has started ticking in your hippocampus, which is now furiously recalibrating every memory, every regret, and every future projection it had been storing. You are not mourning your death yet. You are mourning the future you had planned, the retirement in Tuscany, the grandchildren you assumed you would hold, the reconciliations you assumed you would have time to make. The assumption of time was the scaffolding of your identity. That scaffolding has just been removed. Now, let us dissect the neurobiology of this moment. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of executive function, is attempting to override the amygdala, which is screaming a primal, visceral alarm. The amygdala does not care about your financial legacy. It cares about survival. But when survival is neurologically confirmed as impossible, the amygdala enters a state of paradoxical collapse. The cortisol does not spike indefinitely. It plateaus into a numb, dissociative fog. This is the brain's protective mechanism, a psychological anesthesia that allows you to process the unprocessable in increments. Yet in this fog, a strange phenomenon occurs. The default mode network, the part of your brain responsible for daydreaming, worrying, and ruminating on the past, suddenly goes quiet. It is as if the brain realizes that worrying about the future is now a redundant, energy-wasting activity. The future has been compressed into a single, finite ball. This neurological quietude is the first gift of the terminal diagnosis. For the first time in your adult life, your mind is not projecting into an infinite horizon. It is anchored in the raw, unmediated now. You are not thinking about next quarter, next year, or your next promotion. You are thinking about the weight of the blanket, the texture of the wall, the sound of your own pulse. You have been stripped of your temporal delusions, and in that stripping, you have been given a terrifying and exquisite clarity.
Let us call this protagonist Arthur. Arthur is not a composite of previous characters. He is a new archetype, the successful failure. He has succeeded at every external metric of success, but he has failed at the only one that matters, the lived experience of his own life. He has been a ghost in his own existence, haunting the corridors of corporate power, while his actual life, the one that required presence, vulnerability, and time, withered in the background. On the day of his diagnosis, he does not weep for himself. He weeps for the daughter who learned to stop expecting his calls. He weeps for the wife who left him 5 years ago, not because she stopped loving him, but because she could not compete with his calendar. He weeps for the friendships he allowed to atrophy because he was too busy. The diagnosis is not a tragedy, it is an illumination. It reveals that the life he was building was not a life at all. It was an elaborate, socially sanctioned procrastination. He was delaying living until he had enough security to enjoy it. But the security was a mirage.
He had traded his only non-renewable resource, time, for a renewable one, money. The exchange rate was catastrophic. He is now the richest man in the cemetery, and the cemetery is opening its gates for him in exactly 12 months. This is the dark truth that the corporate world hides. You cannot buy back a single second of a wasted life. Arthur is now facing the ultimate audit, and he is finding the ledger severely overdrawn. The first week after the diagnosis is a blur of clinical pragmatism. Arthur arranges his affairs, he updates his will, he meets with his financial advisor, who speaks to him like a child, using reassuring words that do not land. Arthur does not care about the tax implications of his estate. He cares about the photograph of his daughter on his desk, taken when she was 7. He looks at that photograph and he feels a physical pain in his sternum. He cannot remember the sound of her laugh at that age. He cannot remember the weight of her hand in his. He has outsourced his memory to digital archives, but the neural pathways that should hold those sensory imprints have atrophied from disuse. He has replaced presence with documentation. This is the first act of his terminal awakening. He deletes every productivity app from his phone. He unsubscribes from every industry newsletter. He cancels his membership to the private club he never enjoyed. He is not making a statement, he is performing a surgical excision of the irrelevant. The Stoics called this apathy, not in the modern sense of indifference, but in the ancient sense of removing the excessive, the unnecessary, the performative. Arthur is becoming a Stoic, not through study, but through the brutal necessity of triage. He has 12 months. He must decide what is worth saving.
Week 2. Arthur flies to Sydney to see his daughter. He does not announce his arrival. He just appears at her door. She is 32, a marine biologist, living in a small apartment overlooking the harbor. She is startled, defensive, and suspicious. Her father never visits without a reason. She assumes he wants something, an introduction, a favor, a validation of his own importance. He does not want any of those things. He wants to sit on her balcony and watch the sunset. He wants to ask her about her work, her friends, her fears. He wants to be a witness to her life, not a judge. He says nothing about the diagnosis for the first 3 days. He just listens. He hears her frustration with her funding applications, her excitement about a coral reef restoration project, her ambivalence about her current partner. He listens without interrupting, without advising, without steering the conversation toward himself. She is suspicious initially, but by the 3rd day, she has softened. She tells him she is angry at him for missing her childhood. He does not defend himself. He says, "I deserve that anger. I am sorry." No justification, no explanation, just a simple, clean apology. He realizes that he has spent his entire career crafting arguments and defenses. He has never simply surrendered to the truth. Surrender, he discovers, is not weakness. It is the ultimate form of courage. It is the courage to be wrong, to be flawed, to be unforgiven. And in that surrender, he feels a lightness he has never known. Week 3. Arthur begins to perceive the world through a sensory lens that has been dormant since childhood. He notices the color of the sky in the afternoon, a shade of cerulean he had never registered. He tastes his coffee with an attention that transforms it from a caffeine delivery system into a ritual of pleasure. He feels the breeze on his face and recognizes it as a sensation, not just a weather data point. This is not sentimentality, it is neuroplasticity. His brain, now realizing that it has limited time to process information, is prioritizing novelty and aesthetic intensity over the routine and the mundane. The familiar has become extraordinary because it is finite. He walks through Bondi Beach not as a tourist, but as an explorer of his own mortality. He watches a mother hold her child and feels a pang of jealousy that is quickly replaced by a profound gratitude that he is alive to witness it. He is alive now. The past and future
have collapsed into the present. This is the essence of temporal parsimony, the discipline of using the present moment as the only currency that matters. He had been living in the future, banking on a tomorrow that never arrived. Now, tomorrow is a luxury he cannot afford. He must live in the today, and the today is abundant. Week 4. Arthur revisits his career. He does not regret the work itself. He regrets the cost of the work. He built infrastructure, managed teams, and closed deals. These were not evil acts. They were distractions. They were a way of filling the silence with noise, of avoiding the fundamental questions of existence by drowning them in accomplishment. He realizes that his ambition was a defense mechanism, a way to prove his worth to a father who never acknowledged him, and to a society that equates productivity with virtue. He has earned the virtue, but he has lost the point of virtue. He begins to write letters, not business letters, personal ones. He writes to his ex-wife, not to win her back, but to thank her for the years of patience she gave him. He writes to his old mentor, acknowledging the mentorship he took for granted. He writes to a junior colleague he had bullied, apologizing for the arrogance he displayed. He is not seeking forgiveness, he is clearing his conscience. The act of writing is an act of self-excavation. He is digging up the buried memories and examining them without the filter of self-justification. The pain is the point. The pain is the proof that he is finally engaging with his life, not just administering it.
Week 6. Arthur decides to create a legacy. Not a financial one, he has already arranged that. He decides to record a series of video messages for his future grandchildren. He now hopes his daughter will have children, though he will not see them. He does not speak about his achievements, he speaks about his failures. He tells them about the time he was fired from his first job, about the bridge he burned with a friend over a petty dispute, about the years he wasted chasing a title that ultimately meant nothing. He speaks about the importance of relationships over revenue, of presence over productivity, of kindness over correctness. He is not trying to be profound, he is trying to be useful. He wants to leave behind a map of the mistakes he made so that they do not have to repeat them. This is the ultimate act of Stoic generosity, leaving a legacy of wisdom, not of wealth. He films these messages in his apartment, speaking directly to the camera, his voice occasionally wavering with emotion. He is not embarrassed by the emotion, he's relieved by it. For 52 years, he had been taught that emotion was a liability. Now he understands that emotion is the only authentic currency of human connection. Week 8. Arthur is approached by a writer who wants to tell his story. He declines. He does not want fame, he wants anonymity. He has discovered that the need for public recognition was a symptom of his insecurity. Now that his insecurity has dissolved, he does not need to be known by the masses. He needs to be loved by the few. He spends his remaining time in quiet, intentional solitude. He reads poetry, something he had mocked as impractical in his 30s. He is stunned by the precision of the language, the way a poem can capture a feeling that 1,000 words of corporate jargon cannot. He reads Rilke, Mary Oliver, and the Stoics he had dismissed as archaic. He finds himself in their words. They are talking to him across millennia, offering companionship in his isolation. He is not lonely, he is solitary. Loneliness is the absence of others. Solitude is the presence of self. He has spent his life avoiding the self. Now he is finally meeting it. Week 10. Arthur has a moment of transcendent clarity. He realizes that death is not the opposite of life, it is the condition of life. You cannot have one without the other. The finitude of existence is what gives it meaning. If you lived forever, every choice would be reversible, every moment would be insignificant, and love would be a perpetual, shallow option rather than a profound, urgent commitment. Death is the engine that drives meaning. He is grateful for his diagnosis, not in a platitudinous, everything happens for a reason way, but in a genuine, visceral way. The diagnosis has awakened him from a 52-year sleep. He is now more alive in his final months than he was in his decades of success. He is not fighting death, he is befriending it. He tells his daughter, who now visits him weekly, that he is not afraid. She does not believe him at first, but she sees the calm in his eyes. He has achieved the Stoic ideal of ataraxia, peace of mind, not through the absence of disturbance, but through the acceptance of the inevitable. He is not resisting the tide, he is swimming with it.
Week 12. Arthur is weaker, but his mind is sharper than ever. He has stopped treating his illness as a battle. He treats it as a process. He does not curse his failing organs. He thanks them for the decades of service. He does not regret the things he did not do. He celebrates the things he did. He is not a victim. He is a participant in the greatest mystery of existence. He spends his last days in his Sydney apartment with his daughter by his side. They watch old home videos, laughing at the awkward clothes, the bad haircuts, the moments of unfiltered family life. He holds her hand and tells her that she is the best part of his legacy. He does not say goodbye in a dramatic, final way. He says, "I will see you soon." He is not referring to an afterlife he does not believe in. He is referring to the eternity of her memory. He is dissolving into the continuum of her consciousness. He is dying into her. It is the most peaceful surrender he has ever performed. So, here is your final, non-negotiable exercise. You do not have 12 months. You have decades, or you do not. The tragedy is that you are living as if you have infinite time, which is the same as having no time at all. Tonight, you will write your own obituary, not the one you want the world to read, but the one that is true. You will write down the life you have actually lived, not the life you have planned. Then you will write a second obituary, the life you would live if you had exactly 1 year left. Compare them. The gap between those two documents is the geography of your unprocessed regrets. Starting tomorrow, you will close that gap. You will call the person you have been avoiding. You will quit the role that is draining you. You will say the words you have been swallowing. You will stop treating your time as a renewable resource and start treating it as the sacred, finite currency it is. You will not wait for a diagnosis to give you permission to live. The diagnosis is already there. It's called being born. The clock is ticking for everyone. The only difference is that Arthur heard the ticking clearly. Most people are deaf to it, distracted by the static of the unnecessary. Turn off the static. Hear the tick. Live accordingly. It is the only sane response to the miracle of your existence.